Thanks for listening to this episode of Twos in the Face Wrestling Podcast. Something I haven't said in a bit, Chris. I
We're
need
back.
I need to look
Just like CM Punk, we're back in the wrestling scene. It took us a while.
I need to look
but
back
we're
at our
back.
last timestamp publishing date of the Monix episode. What do you think? It's like is it like a late June, early July timestamp on how long has it taken? This is the longest. I swear this is the longest we've gone without publishing an episode. Which I'm actually very proud of. If you follow certain, and I'm not calling anyone out, if you follow certain podcasts of our size, I think local podcasts, there is gaps, It was SoundCloud says a month ago.
So, it feels longer, to be honest.
It does feel longer than that. So I'm actually pretty proud of our consistency. There's been some road bumps in that. They have names. Their names are Emma and congrats. I don't know. Have I said it on the live since on your?
I don't even. No, I think so.
I think so. Yeah.
The Monix episode. I think I started off with Ivan in my hands. Like I was about to record the whole episode with him.
Yes.
Here. But yeah. So as I was sharing with you, and I'll share with the audience. Like honestly, having the first kid, having said not a problem. Everything's was smooth and we were spoiled. She was a really good baby. Emma was also a really good baby, but that was sick. 4 years later. But now having two kids under 2 years, so having a newborn and a 1-year-old is extremely hard. And I give props to Carla. She's the one that's dealing with them most of the day. But still, like, she obviously needs my assistance. I try to do my best to be there. And that also, and thank you to you too, because you've also been like, look, if we can't record, like, let's not force it. And the way you positioned it is like, I know you have life stuff going on and things are changing over there and you got to settle in, but also you just the way you are about like taking care of your mental health and stuff, like that was super helpful. And that's why I have that additional stress, because I wanted to do it, but I just couldn't find the time. And that, created more stress on top of whatever's going on.
Right.
So yeah, it's definitely been interesting, man. But I'm glad we're doing this, and I'm also glad that you kept telling me, like, let's not record for the sake of recording. Like, let's record when we have something to talk about. And and what a better time. I mean, wrestling is. I feel like we keep saying like wrestling's coming back, but now are we back at the point where there's too much wrestling? I can't keep up again.
It's felt like that for maybe the month of August, but freelance Matt Nix, we wish him the best. Matt Nix has stepped away from freelance, so now we have freelance and Freelance Underground, sort of. And I don't know if this is public knowledge or anything we should be sharing, but it's kind of like, the same person has their hands in both things, and so they've announced so many dates. Like Warrior shows have passed that we just completely, sorry, Steve, we just completely missed them. AAW continues to do things monthly.
Weekly over Twitch.
Yeah. I don't know if it's at the point where it's too much. I think too much is subjective, whether you can handle it or can't handle it, but it is a steady flow of wrestling. And then like AEW, I got tickets to the Wednesday Dynamite next week. And like you tell me everything about, like, you were there when Punk came back. Like hit me with that.
It was very interesting. So that's another thing, right? Now, even to go to a wrestling show with Carla, we asked my mom, can you take care of the kids after work? She got out of work an hour early, and she lives out in Bolingbrook. We live in Midlothian, so like, all right, at 3:00 we're heading out, taking the kids to my mom's house. And then from Bolingbrook at 4:30, start making your drive all the way to the United Center.
Dude, that is a nightmare. That's an absolute nightmare. If you live in Chicago, that is awful. Yeah. How long did that take? Like 3 hours?
No, I was afraid it was, but no, it took us 1 hour and 15. So I guess it wasn't so bad.
Oh, that's not terrible.
But still, like, I was like, we're gonna be stuck in rush hour traffic, and well, now I don't need to really, drive to work. I'm working here, so I don't travel to the city as often.
Sure.
And so I'm not used to that rush hour traffic, and I was just dreading it. But Yeah, it took us about an hour 15. We got there. We, cause like where are we gonna park? I'm like, they'll be parking, and then other people selling, parking on the side or whatnot. We ended up parking at the United Center, and we were pretty much parked by the doors. So it worked
How
out
did you
because
get that? How? You just got
so
there so early?
I think we got there so early.
Okay. Because you
Because I
left
think
early, yeah.
yeah, so we left our house at at like 3 o'clock, and then we made it to the United Center like at 5:15 ish.
Okay.
Um, and yeah, so we ended up parking almost by the doors, and then we're about to go get in line, and then security guard comes out and is telling like, well, he singly like picked out Carla and is like, hey ma'am, you cannot take that person's side, so you better put it back in your car. And it's like it was a little rough, but it seems I'm like, oh well, it's good because we would have gotten in line, and then by the time we go in, we have to get back out and put
Sure. And then you gotta get
shit
back in
back.
line.
So we're telling a couple people like about that because there were no announcements about no purses and shit like that.
Is that
But yeah,
how it's always been? I wonder.
I don't think so. I know
Yeah.
that the last couple soccer games I've been at Soldier Field, they started doing that. So a lot of people were upset because
No
I mean,
purses at Soldier?
right, like your purse had to be like 6 inches wide and 3 inches, like it had
Kind
to
of
be like a
like,
clutch kind of purse. I think that's what they're called.
oh shit, only that?
So yeah, so you couldn't have anything. You
I
can
gotta
walk in
tell
there with
Margaret about that.
anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we might hit up like a few Bears games this year, but yeah, Margaret usually has like kind of like it's like the equivalent of like the little gym bag you like bring your shoes in if you're
Hmm.
going to play basketball. It's like that big almost.
Yeah, no,
But
they wouldn't let that fly.
oh damn.
So
Interesting.
yeah, and then in Soldier Field, like they'll sell you like a locker, like you have to walk, you
Ah,
know,
of course.
further out, and then they'll sell you the locker room so you can leave your shit there because it's I mean, I
Yeah.
guess security, but also business, right? Like,
Yeah.
um,
So you're inside all
so
state?
yeah, we're inside Allstate, and right away, like obviously, I gotta hit the merch table, see what's out there.
Of course.
Um, and
Hit
they
this,
did have
check out the
some
mask, a little Fuego de Sol mask, a little
no Fuego del Sol mask, no Penta or Phoenix action figures. So I was pretty
sad.
disappointed at that. I
Mhm.
know they had some AEW exclusive T-shirts there, like for the Chicago show. Um,
How much were they?
they weren't bad. I think they were 25.
Oh, that's
So yeah, they were
yeah,
like
that
pro wrestling
feels
tee prices.
reasonable.
Yeah, they were not.
Yeah, that feels
Um,
very reasonable.
so yeah, I ended up getting I got a hoodie and one of those like bags that you're talking about, like where you put your gym shoes and shit.
So they don't
Just so
let
we
them in, and then you can buy
but they'll
one.
yeah, you can buy them there. So yeah, we pretty
Okay,
much
yeah,
bought it
that's
so we
the
can
scheme.
put water bottles in there or whatnot that we would buy.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, like we got there early enough that we didn't have to face a lot of lines, and then they also have the bars were open. A lot of people were making lines to buy beer, but you could just walk into the bar and just grab a beer and walk out.
Mm,
So we ended up sitting at the bar. We ended up meeting up with Pac.
okay,
Um,
that's
had a
cool.
couple beers, watched and at the bar they had TV, so we watched some of the dark tapings. Um, Laney, like I
Yeah,
popped when
who
I
was
saw
on it?
Laney. I saw Laney,
Okay, Laney was on it.
Ego.
Okay,
I
I knew
think it
that.
was I didn't know, I didn't recognize GPA through the TV when we were watching that because it was GPA and Fitchit. I recognized Fitchit.
Right. Okay, so I knew that they
Mhm.
did one. I knew that they did one. Okay, I don't know when is that going to air. Do you know
I
when
don't know
that airs?
how many weeks behind they are on that.
Okay, okay.
But yeah, I'll keep tabs for sure on their YouTube to see when that comes out. So we watched some of those matches, then we made our way to our seat. Our seats were pretty dope. Like we were right above where Monix came out, not Monix, Moxley came out, and so we weren't like close with people. Like we had a lot of space to ourselves. Nobody was blocking our view.
I
So the
like
seats
that.
were pretty good. So I'm like Carla did a good job at that, picking out the seats. She's like, yeah, I just didn't want to be around people. I'm like, well, we're in a sold out arena, so I mean,
Yeah.
we're gonna be around people, but yeah, our seats were pretty good. And then obviously, like then they do the countdown before going live on the screens. People are getting excited, and then you get the CM Punk music, and there's like a second where people are like holding their breath, but then they throw up the CM Punk logo, and then
Right.
the music follows. So like then
So
the
that
place,
kicked it off.
Yeah, that kicked it off. It was
Okay.
insane.
Okay. Now,
Um,
did you like that it kicked it off, or because was that the highest moment of your night, or do you think
oh
like it
yeah,
should have
like
came in the middle of the show?
no, well, I think some of the articles that I've seen is like, well, they kicked it off with that, to make sure they grab the audience.
Sure.
Um, but yeah, from from being there live, I think it just like it got everyone excited.
Yeah.
There were actually like a teenager and a mom next to us.
Okay.
And the mom was there with the teenager, and kind of they were talking. We are kind of hearing their conversation. And then the mom's like, oh, the kid asked the mom's like, oh, mom, how are you doing? She's like, oh, I'm fine. I'm here for you. Like, and I'm like, oh, it's a very nice moment. But then the kid, after the CM Punk thing happens, like, well, if you want to leave, we can leave now. And
Right.
she's like,
He just wanted to see the Punk
yeah,
surprise.
yeah. So
I would have been like, no, sit your ass down. We're watching
right, like
this whole
we paid
show.
for this. Yeah,
We're
absolutely.
watching at least half of this show. So
So yeah,
better
pretty
buckle
much they
up.
paid for to watch the dark tapings and the CM Punk
Did they leave?
appearance, and they left. Yeah.
Wow. I
Um.
mean, I don't know. How much were the tickets?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I know. I think there had to be like 110 maybe with Ticketmaster fees or
Oh,
something.
yeah. Yeah. I would have been like, we're watching half the show, I think.
Well, I mean, at that point, I was, we had several beers and we were super excited.
Hmm.
Um, and then I mean, the show was like what, 3 matches, pretty much. Like
Okay.
the Rampage is only like 3, 4 matches. I think for this show it was only 3 matches, and then the CM Punk
Oh,
appearance.
okay. I have to admit that I'm so out of the loop. Even though I'm going to Dynamite,
Oh no, I mean, yeah,
like I don't
I'm
know
with
what a
you.
rampage is. Like, what is a rampage?
What is a Rampage?
What is a rampage? Is it only it's only 4 matches?
I believe it's the time slotted for 4 matches. It's
So
one
it's just like
hour.
a
It's a 1 hour
secondary
show.
weekly show?
So I
Or is
heard
it like
Marty. I
a
was hearing Marty and
is it like a
Sarah, and they were,
shotgun Saturday night?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like a
Like
WCW shotgun Saturday night?
if you remember Lucha Underground, how cool that shit was, and it was just a couple matches and you were done.
Yes, I knew correct. I'm just not familiar with the model. Yeah, Lucha
Yeah,
Underground, you could jam a lot in a 1 hour and it would be some shit. It
you
would be
would feel
some
like
good
it was
shit.
a lot, but it was really
Yeah.
like 3 matches,
Right. It
and
would be like three
sometimes like
matches. Yeah.
in the Aztec Warfare was just that one match the whole show.
Right.
So, that's why when they did tapings, they would do 3 tapings at once with Lucha Underground.
Exactly. So it'd
Um,
be 3 hours worth of stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, like it was really fun. So as soon as the Punk thing is over, like you just start seeing people like running out. Like, I was talking about this kid who left, but people were like rushing out because they just knew they had to be CM Punk merch. And
Did you
so
get an ice cream bar?
yeah, yeah. So the ice cream bars,
Okay.
like there were everybody. I'm sure everybody in that building got one or two.
Okay.
Um, I ended up getting two because I'm like, oh, let me get one for Carla. And then once we kind of regrouped, because we got split up as we were getting out of the building, uh, Carla's like, oh, here. And I'm like, oh, here. He's like, oh, shit, we got too many. And they're ice cream bars. So you also don't want to, keep them or whatever. So we ended up, there were some kids that we just ended up giving them to. So
Okay.
we ate our respective ice cream bar on the way home.
You coerce some little kids with ice cream. You just admitted that. Yeah.
I what?
You gave little kids some ice cream. Yeah, you were strange.
Yeah.
Don't talk
Yeah,
to
man.
strangers, kids.
Well, everybody was hyped about the ice cream bars. The wrappers are being sold for
What
40
did they look
bucks.
like from on the inside? I don't think I saw a
It was
picture of like what it even looked like. I just saw the wrappers.
it's just a regular, it just looks like a regular ice cream bar. Just vanilla covered in chocolate.
Oh,
There were
because
no
the
designs.
okay, I think it's still really cool they did ice cream bars because that was the he wanted to have his own, right? Because remember the old WWE,
Yeah, the
or
one
they
with
were like
the
WWF ones, maybe, weren't they?
WWF ones, yeah, with
Yeah.
the cookie on top that had the design.
Yes.
Yeah, no, it wasn't like that.
And then like that was like his thing. He always said like bring back those damn ice or like
Mhm.
whatever. So I thought they were gonna look like that.
Yeah, and apparently he's the one that like pretty much paid for all those ice cream bars out of pocket, just so everybody that was in the building.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, so he funded the whole thing as a thank you to everyone. So that was pretty dope.
Was the ice
Um,
cream good or no?
yeah,
Mm.
I mean, at what was that, 10:30 that we left the building or so. Um, and a long ride home,
It
like
was
the
hitting.
ice cream was, yeah, it was like we didn't want to stop for food, but it's like, hey, we have an ice cream bar, so we'll make it home.
Okay. That
Um,
kept you up. It gave you that
yeah,
sugar rush so you didn't nod off it,
and so
on the way
just real
home.
quick about the CM Punk t-shirts, right? So then I go also, I'm like, let me see
Oh, right.
what's out there. I go, it's the lines are huge, but me being me, I, I'm like checking it out, and then I asked one of the guys that was in line, like maybe five people down the line, or fifth in line, I'm sorry, and I'm like, "Are you getting the CM Punk T-shirt?" He's like, "Yeah, man." I'm like, "All right, if I buy your T-shirt, can I get in line with you?" And he's like, "Sure," and I was like, "All right."
Whoa.
So I'm like, I didn't want to like spend my whole time online, like in the line. So
Sure.
I'm like,
How
I
long was
ended
that?
up
Yeah, it would have been like,
it was forever, dude. It was up to the second. Like if you were on the first floor, the line was going up to the second floor,
damn.
and I don't know how much further it was after that. So I was like, yeah, I'm not. I would
This is
literally be
very
sitting there the
smart
whole
of you.
time.
Yeah, supply and demand.
So yeah, and apparently that broke the Pro Wrestling T site, and they rebuilt it over the weekend with the larger server and such. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I heard
it
it
was
like
quite the
broke
experience.
records. I don't know.
Uh-huh.
I guess I believe those records. It's not like, SummerSlam, most viewed SummerSlam ever record. I think I believe Pro Wrestling Tees a little bit more
Yeah.
regarding records, but um that's really cool. Yeah. It was everyone kind of knew it's like one of those things everyone kind of knew was coming, but it still didn't matter.
Right. Pure speculation. I was like telling Carlos, because Carlos was like, so are you sure he's coming? I'm like,
People were
I
like
mean,
very sure. People
people are
were like
sure, but
the
there's
surest.
nothing confirmed. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, they could have held that off for all out or something, like
Yeah, it seemed like a lot of people brought signs. Like it was all but confirmed. It was like 95%
Mhm.
there,
Well,
basically.
yeah,
And
clearly the Pro Wrestling T folks knew, because as soon as he came out, they busted out their
oh
CM Punk
yeah,
flag. And I was like, oh, I see you guys.
oh yeah, they got the scoop. Yeah, people
For
were
sure.
like, people are talking about us about like scoops and stuff, and we're like, no,
Hey, you gotta respect the game. Like
no, no,
they're
no, no.
there
Those are the
and
people with the scoops. You need to get in that pressing room back there.
right.
Uh-huh.
So now Castro, I think he tweeted like, oh shit, now I gotta print a shitload of flags, because I think he takes care of the flags and masks.
Yeah, anytime one of these things happens, they probably like it because then they work a lot more hours, and they
Mhm.
when someone returns, then they get a payday too because they just work more hours printing more stuff.
It's a win-win
And
for everybody.
yeah, yeah, good times. I mean, they deserve it. Those guys, Val, Nix, Castro,
Yeah.
And I saw they're in some kind of softball tournament against AEW people.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
that like
It's
streaming somewhere, or do people have to go to that?
I think you have to go to that. I don't think they'll stream it.
God damn it! I gotta leave my house.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I
It's
don't even know when
Val,
that is.
Nix, Castro, and Ryan. So
Let
I'm
me tell
like,
you, swinging. If it's softball, swing. I mean, if you haven't done it in a while, don't underestimate it. Like, it's still if you haven't swung a bat in a bit, it's still hard to hit a softball out of the infield. So I hope they're getting in those cages.
yeah, I mean, I'm down to catch, a fly ball.
Catchers. Yeah. Oh, I was gonna say be the catcher's the
Oh no.
easiest position in softball. So if they need a catcher, you can just sit back
I feel
there.
like I would get tired of being in that catcher position for so long.
That's I've played that position before because I was the
Oh.
worst person on the softball team, and they're like, yeah, just go catch. I've also pitched before, but pitching is, I don't know, pitching, like, you just find a guy to get it over the plate, or you actually have a ringer pitcher that knows how
Mhm.
to do a bunch of like cool shit. So it's like you run the whole scale of pitchers. Like me, I was just like, I could just I didn't couldn't play another position, so I just had to throw it consistently, which I could do. But I don't know. I wish them the best of luck. You
Thunder
can't just
Rosa's
walk
on
into a
the
softball game. That's what I'm saying.
yeah,
Like
Thunder
there's still
Rosa's
some
on
shit.
the AEW team.
Yeah, I saw that. That'll be interesting.
I don't know why they didn't get Cage, but okay.
Well, that's what I don't know if Cage, it takes coordination. I mean, he seems like a coordinated guy, but like there's a different level of coordination with playing softball. That's all I'm saying.
Well, it's
As a
benefiting
warning.
Paul, so and it's happening on. I thought I knew the date, but who am I kidding?
No, we don't know dates.
We don't know dates.
Why are we gathered here today? We're gathered here today.
We're gathered here today to talk about Freelance Underground, previous shows, upcoming shows. And I mean, the big thing that everybody's looking forward to is the Kylie versus Monix. What is it? What's the name of the show? Because the name of the show
Final Phase, right?
That's the name of the show, or the name of the show is Final Countdown, and then the name of the match is Final Phase.
Freelance Underground presents the Final Phase.
All right.
The shows this weekend. So we're recording on October 25th. The shows this weekend are called the Final Countdown because it's their last.
Oh, because it's counting down to the final phase.
It's their last tapings of shows. So yeah, I mean, like those tickets, I'm sure you can go watch those shows as well. They've been having some banger, like they've recorded a bunch of shows and then they're releasing them on IWTV periodically once a week. I think it's every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Central. And I've seen if James is listening to this, I've seen every episode. I haven't been there, but I've seen every episode of Phase In, their weekly show. And they've been some bangers. There've been some bangers from those shows. I wrote down like a bunch of them in case people are interested.
All right. Well, if we just touch on the latest aired show, which FU Part Brew that took place on, well, when you say took place, that was recorded on, right? Like that was what the taping was.
I think that was the actual date it happened, June 19th. Yeah, that was a Saturday. I'm going to say that it took place on that. It was recorded on, yes. So
yes, that was taped on June 19th, but that doesn't matter because it was aired recently, which was I think 2 weeks ago from today. So yeah, we're all over the place, but FU Part Brew is the last show as of today that we're recording. We're recording this episode, as we stated, on August 25th. And you mentioned a couple of bangers, and I want to kind of hear from it because James, if you're hearing this, I have not watched the show. As I mentioned before, 3 kids, 2 under 2.
Don't do 2 under 2. Don't do 2 under 2.
That is my advice for anyone that wants to have kids. Don't do 2 under 2. Have as many as you want. Just make sure you spread them out and don't stress yourself out.
Yeah. If you're feeling like I said, I'm all over with the freelance schedule. There's stuff airing, there's stuff freelance, there's stuff Freelance Underground, there's stuff in the future. There's something happening like All Out weekend. There's like Monix Kylie, which is like we're buying tickets for it now and it's in October. So like we're skipping around and like what is this? When did this happen? It's confusing. It's confusing my small brain. But yeah, so their FU Part Brew was their last like full show.
Mm-hmm.
And I did watch that. I think a lot of what you watched there they're really doing a good job of long-term storytelling because they have that happen. You have FU Part Brew happen. So that kind of kicks it off. And then they have their weekly show. And on the weekly show, there's follow-ups to the feuds that have kind of kicked off on like FU Part Brew, so to speak. So like Coda Hernandez is feuding with Acid Jazz, and that's been like something that they've constantly touched on. Mm-hmm. And it's all kind of building up. I would think it's building up to like the final phase. So like they had a plan. They had a master plan. I don't know how long this is planned out, but like it's there. Like the long, like the references and continuing to touch on certain things. And like, GPA is doing an open challenge, which he calls open enrollments. And Hank wants to defund the open enrollment. So like that is something that's been consistent and things like that. So it started with FU Part Brew though. So that's like the last full show that happened.
Great.
So do you want to run through the matches really quick, and then I can just touch on like things that stuck out?
Yep. Let's do
Okay.
that. So we have Storm versus JJ Garrett. Storm picking up the win. Trevor versus Dan the Dad. Trevor Outlaw versus Dan the Dad versus Darius Luttrell. Dan the Dad picked up the win on that match.
Is that my shorthand? Am I
Uh,
abbreviating?
Yes.
Yes. Storm Grayson. Yes. Sorry.
Storm Grayson. No longer known as the Green Kid.
Right.
Right.
He's beyond that now.
Yep. He's evolved.
Yes.
Kayla Cassidy wins over Blair Onyx. Blair Onyx also making an appearance at AEW. Kylie Ray versus Angel Escalera. This is one I've been wanting to watch because I heard a lot of rumblings, and also
that match was sweet.
Previous to this match, Angel had been doing a couple matches that definitely have put him on the map, as of recent. So I'm looking forward to seeing this one. Although I don't know what the outcome of this match was. I'm assuming Kylie won.
Yes, she did win. Yeah, she won. But she won in like she's still like playing dirty. You know how we kind of left off the Logan Square Auditorium where she was like winning dirty, but no one cared. That is still a thing. It's still a thing. She used a bunch of dirty tactics, which is it's not surprising because we've seen her doing it before. But Angel is, a lot less experienced than she is, although he doesn't look it. So let's just get into that. I mean, let's just get into that. So like, I think I don't know. He's becoming my like, besides maybe the Bang Bros, I think Angel Escalera is becoming the person out of that freelance group, that graduation group, if you will, that has like impressed me the most. He's like shockingly good. He's ahead of schedule. I don't know what the schedule is for like, you got to be this good at this time, but like he fucking went one-on-one with Kylie Ray, and you could have just made him a silhouette the whole match, just a blank silhouette. And I would have been like, no, that guy's like, he's
not a recent grad.
Yeah. That guy has like 5 years in the business. Right. And like, it is like, no, he doesn't. And so he is like, he's been blowing my mind lately.
Cool. And I mean, he's definitely done some iterations to his character too, right? He's evolved. He's been trying to find himself, I think. I don't know if you knew this, but he was Rey Mysterio in one of the freelance Halloween battle royals.
Oh, I didn't know. He's got the height for it. Like, he's not very tall, but that could work.
So I mean, he's been around obviously, and now seeing him being featured in certain matches, not just here in Freelance Underground and Freelance and in other places, but definitely he is catching people's eyes. So
yeah,
because I think we've also seen him in Zello Pro.
He's like slowly breaking away, and like I love that group. I love everyone in that group. So when I say that group, I mean like the people who graduated around the same time that are working for Zello, that are working for Freelance Underground, like everyone that's kind of wrestled on this card basically. I mean, the promoters were smart enough to be like, yeah, he could wrestle Kylie one-on-one, and they were 100% right. Like, he absolutely did, to like a really, really good match. So the things I noticed, like storytelling wise, was like Kylie is being mischievous.
Still has those antics that kind of are taking her away from her original character as a babyface Kylie, right? Like, now you're questioning, like, are you good? Are you okay? Like, because I think when you mentioned that about the freelance Logan Square Auditorium shows and the promos that she was cutting, she was like trying to almost being overly obsessive about her title and clinging onto the championship at freelance. It's so now that kind of Freelance and Freelance Underground, I think they're still going to keep it somewhat separate, but Kylie does not come out with her freelance title, right?
No, she doesn't. She has a backpack, which is like a wrinkle she's been doing for a little bit. No, she doesn't have the freelance championship, but I think if she wants to have this, if she like, obviously I think they hopefully should keep doing this type of character activity with her,
Mm-hmm.
because she at this point, like, I don't know what at this point, if you we've talked to her before, her career, according to her career goals, she's already made it. So at this point, like, if with her career, what do you have to really lose, right? Like, she has done everything, I guess, she like, based on what we've talked to her, she's done everything she's wanted to do with her career. So I hope she like explores this area more, basically, of
Mm-hmm.
like slowly leaning into this, and then maybe just going like full baddie, full heel at some point. But like,
And
it's a like this gray
not
area
to
she's
get
floating in.
not to get ahead of ourselves here, but then Monix versus Kylie, who is the baby face?
The babyface has to be Monix, I think. Like, it has to be. Um, it's like a babyface you cheer for, but I don't think he's going to come out on top, because if I have to put my smarky fedora on for a second, like, I think he'd go out on his back, because that's usually what people do. But I think he would be the babyface, and then Kylie could really turn up. If Kylie could really turn up the heel stuff here at versus Monix,
Right.
so
That's
that'd be
what
really
that's
cool
what
to
I'm
see.
saying. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, if Monix is gonna be the baby face, like these dirty tactics will probably increase as time progresses here. Which will be a cool side, to see from Kylie.
that would be really cool. It would be cool for her to explore that, because like, once again, like, no one knows how long she's gonna wrestle, even, which is fine, totally her choice. But like, let's get into some of that shit. Let's get
Mm-hmm.
in. Let's just like make this character multi-dimensional, or let's just do like a full heel run and like see what happens. And like, why not? Like, what do we have to lose at this point?
Right. What, we don't have nothing to lose. I think we're the
No,
winners in all of this.
no, we are the winners. The
um,
fans, yes.
you talked about Cota Hernandez and Acid Jazz, like kind of having this rivalry, this feud going on. In this taping here, Cota Hernandez goes against Acid Jazz 1-on-1. Cota picks up the win. Laney Luck versus Billy Starks.
Mhm.
What happened here? I don't have a result. I'm
Laney Luck
assuming.
ended up winning. Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, I told you my notes weren't very well formatted.
Hey, they help. Um,
The Brothers of Instruction won, and then
against who?
GPA.
Frank the Clown and
I can't even remember. I didn't write it down. But
okay.
yeah. So they're still the tag champs, and
This is
yeah.
another one that I think it was one that I was looking forward to. GPA versus Calvin Tankman. GPA obviously retains and still champ.
Mhm.
But here, even in your notes, you say perfect storytelling, which that's what I was looking forward to here in this match.
Yeah. So, oh boy. So the GPA Calvin Tinker match was so good. It was. I think that like the last quarter of it suffered a little bit from like things just got very convoluted on how much GPA was trying to like cheat and bend the rules. It was just like almost too much cheating. But like, leading like the match itself was like so good, the way that GPA, you literally felt like GPA had no chance of beating this guy. Like, Calvin Tankman was just like shrugging him off. Like, GPA would try something, and Calvin Tankman would just like literally like Hulk toss him across the ring, and it would just be like, wow, GPA is just like, GPA has literally nothing. So like, the only way that GPA was like gaining some offensive momentum was that he was taking out the leg, right, of Calvin Tankman. So like, how do you knock down this tree? You got to like chip away at its like, at its leg, at its core. So like, what stabilizes this giant person? So but GPA doesn't have to do any big move. Like, there weren't a ton of big moves in this match. You don't need to do any, except for like GPA getting thrown around. There was like power slams and stuff, but GPA literally like didn't do anything offensive that wowed you. It was all methodical offense. It was all like, somehow he got Calvin Tankman in like
That's
a single
GPA.
single leg
100%.
crab. Yeah. And like, it's just so good how he layers it and all this shit. I'm giving him a compliment right now, which I hate doing, but like, he literally goes into a match, and him and his opponent think of all these ways where he can just like he can get offense without being aggressive. He just finds a way to sneak in all this offense, and it's just like by the time the match is over, you kind of feel like the match is even though like GPA has done like no moves. You're just like, how did we get to this point? And I think the end kind of suffered a little bit because there was just like a lot of blatant cheating that was kind of like in the ref's face a little bit. And GPA had to escape
Who was
somehow.
the ref? Do you know who the ref was?
I think it doesn't matter. I think it might have been Perch. It's all good. Doesn't matter. It just got a little too much at the end, but the 3/4 of that match were perfectly like, this guy is like a snake, and this man is a force. It was just like it displayed that perfectly. So I thought it was really good.
Awesome. And so we can always go back and watch this show, IWTV. I don't know if there's still a promo code. You can just try it out and type in freelance. I'm sure it might give you a couple days to watch it for free if you don't have an account. If not, it's worth your money because you're going to get access to a full library, and especially all the library that Freelance Underground and Freelance has in there. So this show was FU Part Brew, but you also have highlights from a previous show called Face In.
Well, so that's their weekly show.
Oh, so there's what they're calling
that's what it's like. Phase in, FU Phase In is their weekly show. So like I have a list of matches that have taken place on their weekly show. So Laney versus Craig Mitchell,
which actually last week we didn't record, just so you guys know, but we did watch this whole show together, Zoom. Right? Yeah, over Zoom.
A rematch needs to happen.
Yeah,
because Craig had it won and the ref was knockout. I'm not saying Laney, there was no cheating going on. Laney doesn't need to cheat. She can beat people without that, but unlike GPA, but that deserves a rematch. Craig versus Laney. Laney Luck versus Davey Bang. Coda Hernandez versus Marche Rocket was good. Actually, like Coda Hernandez and Acid Jazz is a very like, it's one of the more consistent things on their shows in terms of feuds. Very underrated, I think, that feud. Storm Grayson versus Lee Moriarty. Storm Grayson, by the way, has been having banger matches. Storm Grayson has evolved, like you said. He was a Charmander. No, he was a Bulbasaur. Let's stick with the green theme. He was a Bulbasaur, and now he's an Ivysaur. He's fully evolved. Do you understand the Pokemon reference? Yes or no?
Yes, okay. I do understand those two characters.
Okay. I think Ivysaur evolves around level 16, maybe. Okay. So I've played Pokemon enough to remember that, but he's an Ivysaur at this moment. I think he's past we've seen a main event. I think he's past the Bulbasaur stage, he's past being a green kid. And I think he's now wrestling. He had a banger with JJ Garrett, FU Part Brew. He had this match with Lee Moriarty, who is headlined like main events at the, what was that thing?
Everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking
the
about
Collective.
the Indiana show.
Yeah. And had a really good match with him. So like Storm Grayson is in your solid mid card now. He's an Ivysaur. Like he could wrestle for the FU Independent Championship. Like he is that
he's been very consistent and evolving also. Yeah.
His consistency is not talked about enough. That's 100% right.
GPA versus August Matthews. I don't know how I have not seen that one.
Yeah, that was one of the I called it an open book challenge because it's easy to beat, like GPA.
Yeah.
But an open enrollment challenge, which is kind of cool because GPA just gets to wrestle a bunch of people. He wrestled August Matthews. It's cool to see the Bang Bros be able to split up, but also have good tag team matches. He wrestled Blair, or otherwise known as Brock Onyx, and she gave him an F5.
Oh, okay. This was against GPA.
Yeah, it was against GPA versus Blair Onyx. That was on yesterday's 8/24 taping.
Okay.
Or airing, excuse me.
Airing.
8/24 airing. And that was also, once again, like the GPA versus Calvin Tankman was, I'm trying everything against Calvin and he's just he's just way stronger than I ever will be. So GPA like retreated a bunch of times during that match. He's like, I can't do anything to this guy. Like, what the heck am I supposed to do? GPA versus Blair was this person scares me. So it's like a different type of. He's retreating because he's afraid in a different way. He's retreating because he's afraid because he gets like the ring vibes from Blair Onyx, like the Samara vibes. So it's the same type of antics, but two different sources of fear almost. And he does both of them real. Once again, I'm complimenting GPA. Shouldn't be, but I should and shouldn't be. But yeah, Blair. Well, the best part of this match was Blair gave him an F5, and Sterling was just like, we weren't sure what she's gonna do, and then she did. It's because she had GP on her shoulders, and then she just did an F5, and Sterling's like, an F5. He just shouted it. And then I remember the story that Blair told on our podcast about like her Brock Onyx moment. I don't know if you remember that story, but it fit perfectly here.
Awesome. And then the last highlight you have here, Viva La Danger debuts. This is Chico and Danger Mask, right?
Do you remember when we had this idea, right? It's come to life.
It's
This is our idea. I'm gonna like take credit for this. Okay. Like give me one win here. But I remember tweeting.
We put it out into the universe.
We put it out into the universe, you know, and their match was like, they were like purposely like it's on purpose that the gel isn't 100% there yet. They're still like working on stuff, you know. Some of the moves didn't go as planned, you know,
okay.
like
right.
And then
they're
like,
working it out.
They're working it out. But this is the tag team of the future right here. I mean, the personalities on this team, I don't know how you're not gravitated towards both of them.
And if you don't know much about, you know, whether that's Chico or Danger Mask, we have episodes. Danger Mask gives us a whole lot of enlightenment about who he is and what his plans are to conquer the planet Earth. So
more than that, all the nine realms, my friend, the universe, the multiverse. Okay. He's gonna conquer the multiverse.
And you know, Viva La Chico, we're always hashtagging Viva La Chico. So he's also making appearances everywhere and doing his thing. So
it's hot right now.
Yeah, it's hot in demand.
He's our Chico Suave.
Oh, there's another shirt for Chico. He's our Chico.
I messaged him. I was like, hey, let me get an XL. So hopefully he's still holding one for me. If they're not
he might break CM Punk's record soon.
I wonder what that count is. We need to get a live count.
Right.
Punk versus Chico.
It's gonna happen in Chicago.
I seriously want a shirt though, Chico. I'm not kidding. If you're listening to this, I seriously want a shirt. I'm 100% serious. But Chico honestly is hot right now. He's wrestling a lot. I don't know. I've never followed Chico's career this closely, but I don't also remember seeing him in this many places before. So that might just be me following him more closely. But it seems like he's more active now.
You know, not to get, you know, ahead of ourselves and talk about like breakouts of the year and stuff. But I mean, locally from Chicago, I mean, we talked about Angel Escalera this year. And I think Chico is one of those guys also, even though I feel Chico's been around for a lot longer. I think it makes perfect sense to like say that he could be a breakout this year just because he's wrestling everywhere. We're seeing him everywhere. He's hitting the road and
he's hitting at least the Midwest road. Yeah. I don't know how far he's gone, but like he's going to different Midwestern states for sure. He's definitely put it in the hours. He seems to like be, yeah. So like, I think his mindset is just a lot more like he's just locked in now. He's just locked in. So I hope he continues to stay that way.
All right. So again, IWTV, you can find this under Freelance Underground promotion, Freelance Underground. I mean, I think they're doing a great job. Like you said, I mean, especially like us that we like to talk about storylines and storytelling and you know, having that go from show to show. That's something that I've heard you talk about during this recording and obviously in our separate conversations that there's several storylines that are following through these tapings.
Yeah, honestly, like if you were to start at FU Park Brew and you were to watch all the phase in weekly shows, like it's there,
Mhm.
and you can follow these people. And if we publish this episode before like 8/27, 8/28, there's tapings then. We're going to no place like home on September 3rd, which sounds like another Spider-Man movie. Did you see the Spider-Man trailer? I don't know if
No, I have
you're
not.
into that, but no place like home sounds like a one. So the Spider-Man movie is called No Way Home. The show on September 3rd is called No Place Like Home in Hoffman Estates. And that just sets, yeah, like freelance underground. There's so many dates. There's so many dates. Like just find the one you can find, the ones you can go to, and the ones you can't, just go to IWTV and you can catch up. So it's all there for you if you want to get back into it. If now is the time, I mean, now is the time.
September 10th, Freelance comes back to Logan Square Auditorium. That's an important date.
Yes, that is. Let's look at that card. That's the show we're supposed to be talking about, right? Wink, wink. I had it up. Oh no, it's right here. Danhausen's on that card, right? Are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Yep.
Well, no place like home. Not September 10th. No place like home. Let's go through that card. Okay. If we got a second.
Yes.
Okay.
No place like home. That's taking place on 9/3, September 3rd.
Yes.
Hoffman Estates.
So this is all out weekend.
We're going.
This is all out weekend. I know that there's probably is all out taking place this night? It doesn't matter. So if you're free Friday 9/3 and you want to go to the show, Nick Gage is wrestling with Kylie Ray in a tag team match. I mean, what more do we have to say? Honestly, right there. Versus Frank the Clown and Robert Anthony. Isaiah Velasquez versus Lee Moriarty. So that is going to be very, very. This is going to have moves in it that we've never seen before, I think. FU Championship GPA versus Danhausen. Laney Luck versus Daniel Garcia, who's popping up a lot right now. I don't know too much about him, but I know he's popping up everywhere. There is a trios elimination tag team match featuring Effie, Devin Moreau, and Angel Escalera against Dario Sottrell, Trevor Outlaw, Coda Hernandez. Storm Grayson is on the card. Chris Castro's on the card. He's teaming with the Bang Bros. And versus some other people. Cole Radrick is on the card. Billy Starks is on the card. So yeah, this is I don't know where this falls, like right in the timeline of this. This is like, it's a freelance underground and freelance wrestling show. It looks like, kind of what it's pitched as, but there's a lot of good talent on. I mean, Nick Gage and Kylie Ray. Can you imagine like them both coming out and like smashing a light tube against their heads? Like,
I mean, well, Kylie had replaced Cage at one point, right? At some show.
MD Kylie, right?
MD Kylie, yeah.
This is the team, MD Kylie.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the next show that we're going to. But once again, like if you have the appetite, it's out there. If you can't find it, you're not looking hard enough. And we wish you to come to this. I mean, all out weekend. I'm going to that Wednesday Dynamite, and I'm going to Freelance. I'm going to Effie's brunch.
Oh, nice.
So I'm full, I think, as far as what I can handle. But there's so much to go to.
Yeah, for now, taking it one show at a time. I'll be obviously at that's the plan on this, card subject to change. September 3rd, no place like home. I'm planning on being there. And then after that, for sure, Kylie versus Monix, final phase, October 23rd. I'm also eyeing the comeback to Logan Square Auditorium. So all those details can be found over at freelancewrestling.com or follow Freelance Underground on Twitter. Freelance Underground on Twitter is Freelance UNDRGD. Underground without any vowels.
Yeah. Not confusing.
Not confusing at all, but
not confusing at all.
if not, pretty much you can check out Two Heels in the Face, and Charlie will retweet and tweet stuff out regarding these shows and where you can find tickets.
Right.
Um,
That's actually a good point. If you don't want to follow, if I say follow all these promotions, but we are a little bit of a central source for that. So I'll retweet anything we're tagged in with the ticket link in it that is of the promotions and that we talk about. So you can find it all at our Twitter for sure.
All right. So does that mean we are going home?
I think, unless there's anything else you want to talk about. I mean, I don't know. Like, what are you doing? Are you coming? You're coming no way home. No place like home with me. I almost said no way home. See, I'm getting confused with the Spider-Man trailer.
See, when no place like home, I think of the Wizard of Oz.
Yes. Right. Are you gonna wear your ruby red slippers there?
Only if the sparklies don't come off. They have to be sparkly.
Oh yes, the
glittery.
I hate glitter so much. I won't even buy a card. I won't even buy a card with glitter on it. Like I've just refused to do that.
My last encounter with glitter, I think that I bought for me was that Pentagon shirt. Do you remember?
Dude, yes. I don't even know where that shirt is. I might have thrown it out, honestly. Like I don't know if that I don't know if I've ever worn that shirt once. Maybe once, and I was just like, I'm never wearing this again. There's just glitter everywhere.
Yeah, no, that was tragic. I'm sure I have that shirt somewhere.
Why did I even buy it? Like, why do I?
It was a cool shirt. It was a cool shirt.
It is a cool looking shirt. It's just like you got to wash it 8 times.
Exactly. Like we didn't know that all that Mexican glitter was going to come off so easily.
God.
But yeah. Outside of that, I think I might be making a trip to the Pro Wrestling Tea store. So I'm actually gonna I'm gonna buy some. They're out in the store right now. They're actually in my cart.
Micro brawlers?
No, so I gave up on. I wanted to collect micro brawlers, but I was so late in the game, it was gonna bother me that I didn't have the whole collection. And then also, shout out to them. They're doing their thing. Props to Pro Wrestling Tees and the micro brawlers, but sometimes they go a little over with the exclusives and buy now, up until noon, and it's too much pressure. I can't. That's why also my Funko Pop game has decreased a little bit with that.
Okay.
I can't be buying exclusive stuff anymore, but at least I am trying to collect the Pentagon and Phoenix figures. So I have the first set.
Okay.
And over Facebook, somebody that I know bought me the recent Phoenix, so I'll probably get the Pentagon. And that's the thing. Like the hard part is going to pick it up at the store just based on their hours. Last time,
their hours are not very office worker friendly.
Right. Kike hooked me up because he went to go pick up his packages and he brought them to me to the last Cello Pro show out in the baseball field shows. So
okay.
Cello's also running out of Nebraska. Did you see that?
I think I did see that. Yeah.
So
I've been really that's another, once again, apologies to Zello. Like a whole month goes by and there's all these shows that we're not talking about.
Well, we're gonna get back into a rhythm, right? Like we put things off for a bit. We were off for a month apparently. Feels like it was longer than that, but we'll hopefully get into a rhythm. There's enough wrestling to talk about. Whether we go to shows or not, we'll be watching. I definitely want to go back and watch at least a couple matches per show from the Stadium Series for Warrior Wrestling.
Okay.
And eventually we'll talk to Steve and see how that went, because they had to make a somewhat last minute change for this last show, and they brought it back. They brought it inside the gym due to weather conditions.
Oh, interesting.
So we'll talk more about that, but we'll definitely try to stay in our regular cadence and eventually hit episode 200. I believe this is episode 196, if I'm not mistaken.
Are we gonna do something special for it or not?
I was playing it out to be something special, but
Were you?
I don't have anything. I didn't have anything in mind.
What about an open invite show? We just throw the link out there and see who joins. That would be reckless.
That would be reckless, but hey, it is what it is.
And no one joins.
No one joins. But yeah, we'll figure out what we're gonna do. But also, uh, we are giving away tickets for the
We
final
are.
face show. So stay tuned.
Yep.
We'll be announcing how to get a pair of tickets for that show because
Yep.
clearly we
Doesn't
are
mean you shouldn't
excited.
buy your own, because
Oh,
I
for
think a
sure.
lot of people are going to enter this raffle because it's going to be very easy to enter.
And
But
I think
if you
we
meant,
did
if
get
you,
we did
yeah,
get an
we
update
are going to.
that we were almost at sold out, right? Did you see
It's getting
that?
close. I think it was getting
Yeah.
close. I think it might have been like 20 or something away. Tickets,
Yeah.
maybe. Hold on, let me look. It's getting there. We're definitely, it's definitely half done
Over,
already.
yeah, over
And
half.
this is the
So yeah,
night,
just
this is
if
the
you want to
day
get
of.
tickets, yeah,
So
go ahead and get tickets.
mhm.
But you might want to invite somebody or whatnot. You might want an extra pair of tickets. So we'll announce shortly how you can win some tickets for that show.
Okay.
Um, with that being said, I think we're going home, and we are letting you know that you can follow us on social media: Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Two Heels and a Face. Definitely Charlie being the life of that Twitter feed. And I have a lot of cool shit. I have acquired a lot of cool shit lately that I should be taking pictures of and putting up on Instagram.
Just send them to me.
Um,
You can, yeah, you can put them on Instagram, but like if you have the photos, just send them to me and I'll do it.
mhm.
I've been trying to keep busy while we're not recording. So yeah.
Yeah, there. I have some custom Funkos that I've been getting of luchadors.
Okay.
So I want to share those. Those are pretty cool. But yeah, we'll keep you guys updated. You can always visit twoheelsandaface.com. And we're pretty much everywhere on any platform for podcasting. And now Charlie's uploading these videos to YouTube. So you can also check out the YouTube channel, Two Heels and a Face. So everything's pretty consistent with the naming.
Right.
Um, and remember to hashtag Viva La Chico.
Definitely hashtag Viva La Chico. He's hot right now. Viva La Danger. Hashtag Viva La Danger. Former,
Viva.
future FU tag champs. You heard it here first.
There you go. Hot take.
Mm-hmm. All right. Later.
Thanks.